to extend my welcome to Miss Camille Chorley, Dr. Wilson Reynolds, members of the senior leadership team, distinguished guests, teachers, parents, and last but not least, the Year 9 cohort of 2018. I am Maddie and this is Naya, and we will be your MCs for the morning. This morning is a significant day, reflecting and celebrating upon our year as we close the chapter of our middle school journey, ready to open the start of a new page in senior school. Not only does today allow us to reflect upon our own year, but it also gives us the opportunity to show our appreciation to those who have helped us along our way, including our teachers, families and friends. Now, without further ado, I would like to introduce the Year 9 Instrumental Ensemble, who will be playing A City of Stars from the film La La Land.
Girls and Mr. Yang for that beautiful performance. I would now like to invite Jemima to say the acknowledgement of country, which is a way that we can all show respect to the Aboriginal culture and heritage and the ongoing relationship the traditional custodians have with the land.
We acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land and their care of it for thousands of years. Open to the spirit who has ever been present here, we resolve to appreciate its beauty, to be wise stewards of its resources, and to honour the connection the traditional custodians, the Kumba from the Yugambeh Nation, have with this land.
If you take a look around the room this morning, I'm sure you can all see the many elephant-themed decorations, either on your table, on the walls, or even on the ceiling. At the beginning of the Year 9 leadership team decided upon the elephant as our symbol, ingraining the 4 key traits of courage, compassion, unity and friendship. This year, our middle school community has been symbolic to a herd of elephants. This herd is led by the eldest and largest female, known as the matriarch. As leaders of the middle school this year, you have all acted as this matriarch, guiding and supporting the girls in the younger grades. But along with this matriarchal responsibility, we have also needed the courage to face every situation with bravery, the compassion to be sympathetic towards others, and the friendship to help us change and grow.
Throughout this year, there were some major highs but also some dips. Year 9 has been jam-packed with adventures and tests, not only academically but within ourselves as students. We have been challenged daily to take new activities and try new perspectives. I would admit, not all were fun, but sometimes we really struggled. But it was with these low moments where we all learnt so much about ourselves and what we can do if we really put our minds to it. Let's take camp, for example. What started off as being a planned 20-kilometre hike turned into a wrong turn almost from the get-go, cutting through fields that didn't seem to have a trail anywhere near us, sliding underneath barbed wire fences, and also the most beautiful and breathtaking view I've ever seen. It takes the phrase taking the scenic route to another level. At the time, running through spider webs and sliding down muddy rocks and eventually hiking over 40 kilometres, trust me, I was not having any fun. But it took all of the pain and the frustration to get us to a route that showed us a valley with the sun setting just over the hills that I will have in my memory for the rest of my life. The smiles all over all of our faces were unforgettable. Through one of the most physically and mentally challenging activities I've ever taken part in, I for one learned so much about myself. If you set your mind to something, you will do it. And like we've been told before, if we dream it, then put the hard work in, we will achieve it. It takes hard work to create something amazing. And as a cohort, I believe we have really put in the work, and here we are, and look what we've created. I know that if all of you work hard, you can do absolutely anything you want to do.
Girls, this year you have all embodied our elephant theme, showing courage, compassion, unity and friendship throughout our numerous events, and I urge you to all continue to demonstrate these traits through the next chapter of our schooling life. Thank you. Now is the time we've all been patiently waiting for. So soon everyone will be invited table by the leadership team to go and enjoy a delicious buffet breakfast. There will be gluten-free options at both tables. During breakfast, there will be a PowerPoint playing which is filled with all of this year's memories that sum up our final year of middle school.
After breakfast, we will have the privilege of hearing from our guest speaker, Miss Camille Chorley, before attending a chapel service run by Father Patrick and the traditional moving on ceremony. All guests are welcome to stay and join us after breakfast for these events, though you are free to leave if need be. Please bow your heads as we invite Izzy to say the grace.
Dear Lord, let us give thanks for the past year and for this morning, as we come together to celebrate our journey through the middle school. Let us give thanks for the many memories, for the things we have learned, for the fun we have had, and for the skills we have gained. Let us give thanks for our families, for the friends we have made, and for the teachers who have helped us along the way. We give thanks to you, Lord, for the meal we are about to share and for looking after us. Let us celebrate how far we have come together. Amen.
pleasure in welcoming our guest speaker, old girl and special guest Miss Camille Chorley, who graduated from the school and held the position of head day girl in 2014. During her time at St Hilda's, Camille was heavily involved in a number of school productions and musicals, completing Grade 8 speech and drama with distinction and receiving the Jessica Bird Memorial Prize for Excellence in Drama. Currently based in Sydney, Camille recently graduated from the Actor Centre Australia in June of 2018. Since leaving school, Camille has graduate experience in both theatre and film and is most fascinated by the psychology of characters she inhabits and their complexities, pushing boundaries and forming connections with cast and creatives. Please join with me in welcoming Miss Camille Chorley.
Thank you for the lovely introduction. Good morning, parents, special guests, staff and students of St Hilda's School. Congratulations on completing middle school grade 9. What an exciting time. I wanted to start by saying how grateful and excited I am to be back at St Hilda's, to see all these fresh faces and all the familiar ones as well. I have very fond memories of my time here, a lot of lessons learned, and I'm really proud to be able to share with you today some of my experiences from then and now as a St Hilda's old girl. The beauty of this school, having previously attended a small school in country Queensland, is the opportunities it offers and the wonderful team that invest in the potential of its students. When the topic of school comes up with people that have graduated, there's often a mention of a teacher that inspired them, or even just a lesson or a moment from that time that has contributed to the place they're at or the person they are now. I still tell people that I think the drama program here and the shows we got to see on excursions in Brisbane, like The Mountaintop, based on Martin Luther King's Last Night on Earth, were hugely influential on my decision to pursue acting. And of course, having a mentor who really believed in me and Mrs. Gravel. I will say I missed team sports at school too, even though I was never a sports star. I played basketball for a while and I didn't think it. And during one game, I was so stoked because I was running down the court with the ball and I could so close to shooting the basket and I could hear all this cheering in the audience. And I thought, oh God, I'm going to shoot, I'm going to get this. Only to realise after I'd thrown the ball, I was going the wrong direction and shot for the opposing team. So all the yelling was actually, turn around, you're going the wrong way. So I wasn't exactly an asset to that team. But what I do treasure is how much fun we had and the camaraderie of the girls and the coaches in those teams. On that note, something I value more than ever is failure, which is contrary to the idea that failure is a moral defect. But failing and then learning from that is triumphant. Failing and then refusing to go there again, that's lack of character. One thing that acting school certainly instilled in me is feel the fear and then do it anyway. As one of our teachers always said, if you're going to fail, fail gloriously. Think about your favourite films or shows, and I can bet most of them involve a struggle. We as an audience love to see the struggle because we admire the persistence and the resilience of humanity. So appreciate your spectacular failures, chalk it up to valuable experience, and then try again anyway. My friend Lainey and I when I was in grade 9, St Hilda's hosted a lunchtime talent show in this very room, actually. And my friend Lainey and I spontaneously decided we would perform A Whole New World from Aladdin a cappella. Now, neither of us are good singers, and we're pretty aware of that. And I think people were probably more embarrassed for us than what we were personally. But I am a firm believer that comfort causes the spirit to die. So be proud of who you are and be bold enough to express that. Life isn't always going to be comfortable, but that's half the fun. In saying that, don't do something just because someone else tells you it's good for you. Listen to your gut and your heart and embrace what is authentic to you. Just be open to figuring it out too. In the words of Sarah Kay, a spoken word poet, this world is made of sugar and it can crumble so easily, but don't be afraid to stick your tongue out and taste it. I would encourage you to focus on enhancing and growing your skills, rather than where you want to end up and what you need to get there. The reason I say this is because I know personally, and from the experiences of my friends, that so often we don't go down the path we intended. I graduated with the intention of studying journalism, but the hidden desire to pursue acting. It takes being a bit bold to want to go into a profession like acting. And I'd had all of those roadblock thoughts like, is this a viable career for me? And am I tough enough to endure a competitive industry? But I said to myself, I don't want to look back on my life when I'm older and say, what if? If nothing comes of it, I want to look back and say, well, I gave it a shot. Author Cleo Wade writes, people will continuously tell you to find your passion or purpose, but we always have the ability to apply passion and purpose to everything we do. There is no solution or answer to the perfect life. Happiness is not a destination. We do put a lot of pressure on ourselves to live in consistent bliss, but that is so far from anyone's reality. We need to know heartbreak like we need to know love. We need to know sorrow like we need to know joy. And as I'm sure you'll find out throughout your school journey, we need to know hard work if we want to know accomplishment. It's important to remember that whether it's in your academics you shine, or on the sporting field, or on the stage, or if you're yet to find what sets the fire in you, they are all parts of you, and no one single thing defines or diminishes you. You don't have to be an A-grade student to work hard at what you love and speak up for what you believe in. One saying that really frustrates me is, here for a good time, not a long time, which I'm sure most people are pretty familiar with because it's in every third person's Instagram bio now. And whilst I am an advocate of not taking life or yourself too seriously, I don't think it's cool not to care anymore. That expression, in my opinion, is a bit of a cop-out for not accepting that you are part of a society and a planet that deserves your care and is fortunate to have it. Whatever it is that is important to you, harness it and nurture it. I think this applies to our relationships as well. One of the aspects of being a day girl that I still cherish, aside from Freak Out Fridays. Do you still have Freak Out Fridays? No. Gotta bring it back. But one thing I still cherish was the platform and confidence it gave me to connect with so many people. I recently came across a quoted passage from a book called Why We Need Love, and it explains to love in the context of Buddhism is above all to be there. Now, I know we are in an Anglican school, but I do believe there is an encouraged appreciation for other religions and beliefs and being open to what they have to offer. The question that is asked in this case is, do you have time to love? And the answer, in its simplicity, is the most precious gift you can give to the one you love is your true presence. But it's not easy. It takes practice, especially in a world where attention spans are decreasing and the pressure to be connected to multiple people or things or at any one time is pretty intense. We wake up, we say a quick hello, we eat quickly and we're out the door. We do what we need to do, work, study, come home, unwind, usually in front of a screen, reply hastily to the comments and messages from several different apps, and go to bed. And in the rush of it, we do not make ourselves present to the people we love. So challenge yourself to not lose that intimacy or the connections, to just be there in a world that makes it harder and harder with every new iPhone feature. There was a time when we didn't have access to the constant feed of luxury holidays and festivals that all of our friends are immersed in. And sometimes we're left thinking, am I the only person that didn't get tickets to Splendour or spend summer in Europe? The detrimental effect of this FOMO culture is the competitive response it incites and the want to cut others down. I recently came across a term called Queen Bee syndrome, which derives from the statistic that women in superior positions in the workplace who champion or encourage women in junior roles are more likely to get negative performance reviews. I think this applies to a number of situations because we're often manipulated to believe there is only room for one at the top. particularly in a society where women have a significantly lower percentage of representation in a number of workplaces. In a Harvard Business Review, Anne McNulty expresses that the antidote to being penalised for sponsoring women may just be to do it more, and to do it vocally, loudly and proudly, until we're able to change perceptions. When women lift each other up, we encourage a culture of support, where achievements are recognised and we can proudly cultivate new talent. We're all up against a world that will try and tear us down, whether it's our bodies or our brains. So be proud of who you are and take other women along with you. Because we are not rivals, we need each other. I want to wish you a lot of love and happiness as you begin your senior school journey. Work hard and know there's a lot of fun to come. And I'll leave you with a small piece from a poem about adolescence. You are a miracle in the middle of the week. You are a poet. You are every colour reflected in the palettes of distant planets. You are someone to be loved, cherished, and you've only just begun. Thank you.
On behalf of Year 9, Amelia and I would like to thank our guest speaker, Miss Camille Chorley, for her incredible speech this morning. Miss Chorley, I'm sure we will all carry your valuable messages with us into senior school. Would you please accept a small token of our appreciation?
I now have the pleasure of introducing Mr. Zambot and the Year 9 music students, as they will now sing Keep Holding On.
When it gets cold and it feels like the end, there's no place to go. I won't give up. I won't give up. Keep holding on, 'cause you know make it through, make it through. Just stay strong. 'Cause you know I'm here for you, I'm here for you. There's nothing you can say.
We would like to thank each and every one of you girls for making this year so incredibly memorable.
We would also like to extend our gratitude to all the staff, in particular Miss McNamee and Miss Sandberg, who have taught us and guided us to perform at our very best and to help us achieve our goals. We would also like to thank everyone for spending the morning with us and hope you enjoyed the delicious breakfast. I now would like to introduce Miss Sandberg for her reflection of the year.
Thank you, girls. Well, welcome to our Year 9 Connection breakfast. It's always a very special occasion for me. In particular, I'd like to welcome Camille for coming back and speaking us today so eloquently. Thank you so much for that. To our principal, Doc, members of the senior leadership team, special guests, ladies and gentlemen, and in particular Year 9 girls, I welcome you to this morning. I'm delighted that you're able to join us. I think it's a very special occasion as we celebrate the girls' journey through middle school, but also what is to come. It's very much a special rites of passage. I just have a few words this morning and messages that I'd like to share with the girls. The first one is Ubuntu. Ubuntu is an African concept that broadly means I am who I am because of those around me. It captures the power of connectedness and the role of community in defining who we are and who we become. We all know it feels good to be connected to other people. We are born into families, into teenage tribes, into a shared humanity, and we need each other. We need each other so that we can grow and develop and thrive. The concept of Ubuntu resonates with the girls' choice of the elephant as their symbol for this year. And I actually believe there's a few common threads. The girls too are social creatures and take pleasure in each other's company. They care for and look out for one another. They shout uproarious greetings at each other at favourite meeting places, not necessarily watering holes, but the lockers or sporting fields or such like. They celebrate together and lament together or with each other when things don't go right, I should say. They are connected to one another. Ubuntu. I am who I am because of those around me. Their connection to the middle school community will remain part of who they are as they move on. Just a few words to share, and I think change. You are in a time of change, and the only thing that is constant in your life is change. It will continue to change, no matter what part of the journey you are on. This quote from Heraclitus resonates as we come to the end of the girls' time in middle school. Some of the changes are clearly evident, visible in the length of tunics, or should I say for some, brevity. The occasional mood swings, I think parents may identify with that one, and the shifting nature of friendship groups, as well as the reasoning skills the girls have developed and their ability to argue and, clearly state their points of view. Some changes will become apparent over time, and some might actually surprise, particularly the girls themselves as they realise they possess the capacities and the resilience to undertake the new challenges and new opportunities that they will come across in their senior school journey. Political theorist John Shah said, "The future is not a place we are going to, but one we are creating. The paths are not found, but they are made, and the activity of making them changes the maker and the destination. So be prepared for change. Go forward and create your future. And always remember to move forward together. My words of advice actually very much echo some of Camille's, so I'd like to share them. One that I think is very important is embrace the unknown. You need to put yourself in the way of new opportunities and test those different circumstances that you're going to be in. Change is tough, but it can enhance your life. If there are activities or experiences you have wanted to try, you should try them. If there are things you've been anxious about doing, but feel intrigued, you should try them. Don't be afraid to take risks. If you don't try new things, then you may never find out what you are capable of. 2, don't be afraid to fail. Don't worry about the failures, worry about the chances you miss if you don't even try. Failure is like stepping stones to success, as long as you learn from it. Failure shows you are trying. It's just so easy sometimes to remain in your comfort zone, just getting by and living life without taking any action. But that's not how we grow. 3, stay connected. And by that I don't mean to a device. Be aware of what is going on around you. Be aware of the people in your community, in the country and the world. As a community, we look after each other. We provoke each other. We challenge each other. We inspire and protect each other. Our community helps informs our values and reminds us what is important in life. Archbishop Desmond Tutu said, "We think of ourselves far too frequently as just individuals, separated from one another, whereas you are connected, and what you do affects the whole world. When you do well, it spreads out. It is for the whole of humanity." So I encourage you to use the tools of love, hope, and compassion to be sensitive to the needs of others and offer your assistance to those less fortunate. Continue to serve others and make a difference. Finally, I'd like to thank you for being you and for helping to shape and be part of our middle school community. You have changed us. But senior school beckons. It is a time for new growth and direction, a time to use what you've already learned, embrace those opportunities, and to create new pathways. Remember the power of connectedness. Ubuntu. I am who I am because of you. Thank you. I'd now like to ask Dr. Wilson Reynolds to come and speak. Thank you.
I don't know if I can add any more to this. What a wonderful joy to hear from both Camille and Sandberg this morning. That was fabulous. Girls, I'm loving the elephant thing until someone mentioned the matriarchal elephant and Miss Sandberg pointed and said, "That's you." And at the very same time I pointed to her and said, "No, it's you." So we're going to go out the back in a moment and have a fight about who's the elephant in the room. So we'll see how that goes. I'll let you know. I also want to say, I don't know if you know, but Camille is sitting here with her mum, who is Mrs. Chorley, who you might all know from the health centre, but also Miss Chorley's mum, Norma. So we have 3 generations of Camille here. How gorgeous to fit with that Ubuntu thing. Isn't that great? Can we congratulate these 3 beautiful women? It is also Camille's birthday today. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Camille. Happy birthday to you. Hooray! 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 Camille, we organised this little birthday party just for you. How old are you?
22.
22. Woohoo. Fantastic. Well, let me get back to what I was going to say. Girls, I don't know if you remember me telling you this, but when you went on your Year 9 camp, which I got to visit, and I know there was a lot of rain and there was a lot of turmoil in that camp, there was a really beautiful moment. When I got back, I got rung up by a member of the public who said she wanted to speak to the principal about the Year 9 camp. Now, can you imagine how I was feeling? Because when you get phone calls like that, you sort of steel yourself. Hello. Can I help you? And she said, well, I need to tell you something. We go every year to this particular place and we go camping. And we had just arrived, we just set ourselves up, and then we saw the school buses drive in. She said, I was horrified. Right, we're going, she said. We're not staying here. There's a school just arrived on the doorstep and this will be dreadful. It's ruined our holiday. She said, I was all prepared. She said, we didn't hear a peep from them all week. They were there Monday to Friday. We didn't hear a thing. It was magnificent. She said, I'm ringing up to say, well done. You have an awesome school. How good was that? Doesn't happen too often, so thank you, girls. Perhaps it was because of the rain and they couldn't make any noise. They were stuck in their tents. Parents, I want to say well done. Thank you for sharing your most beautiful girls with us. We are incredibly proud of them, and I know I'm speaking for Miss McNamee, who I also would like to thank, Miss Sandberg, Miss Lohman and myself. We are incredibly proud of Year 9. So next year it's senior school, so we're expecting big things, girls. All right? Let's have a look at this. This is what I want you to do and take with you as your motto. I want you to go for it. Now I'm going to tell you a secret. You're not allowed to let it leave this room. You've got Year 10, Year 11 and Year 12 coming up. I'm going to tell you next year is the most important year, and don't tell that to the Year 11s or 12s. Next year is the most important year because that's the year you can really try things out. You can try things out in your learning, in your house, in the school. You can take a running jump like this fish and go for it. So don't underestimate your ability to try new things because it will be different to middle school and some of the scaffolds will come down and there will be a sense of you stepping up more significantly. And you'll need a bit more initiative. And you've got great advice this morning of the things that you can do. I've got a bookmark that I really like, and it says this. Education is knowing what you want, knowing where to get it, and knowing what to do with it after you get it. So girls, you have learnt a lot in middle school. Go for it. I want you not to be timid. I want you can make a difference. We have heard you sing so beautifully, play music together beautifully. We've seen you connect over activities and camps and days that you have run for middle school this year. Go for it. Whether it might be applying for exchange, it might be taking a lead on the Year 10 retreat. It might be in your house, it might be in co-curricular activities, it might be in events and carnivals. Go for it. I would encourage you this holidays to spend some time looking back on middle school. Have a think. What did I do really well? What did I learn about myself? What would I do differently if I could turn back the clock? How did I make a difference? What am I determined to do in the future? And what would I really like to make happen? And this is what you can do. Sometimes we start doubting ourselves and we make excuses for what things can happen. And I want to just give you a little insight into that. In Year 10, you'll be invited to apply for exchange. Not everyone gets the opportunity. There are limited spaces. But we had some girls come back from exchange this year and I sat down with them and I asked them, what did they learn? How did they change? How are they different now? And quite a number of them said, you know, I went to somewhere where no one knew me. And I actually did things that I wouldn't normally do at school. And I stepped up to things and I put my hand up for sports I've never played in my life. And I had a ball. And I want to say, I want you to take that attitude into year 10. I want you to say, I'm starting again, I'm reinventing myself. And have a go. And go for it. And I want to add one more thing, and Ms. Sandberg touched on this. Make it an opportunity to make a difference to others. If your focus is on what can I give rather than what can I get, you will have such a successful year. Now, if you think, oh, I'm not so confident and I don't have a lot to offer, have a look at this quote. If you think you are too small to make a difference, try sleeping with a mosquito. I did that the other night. When I saw that quote, I so have to share this with you. It doesn't matter about your age. It doesn't even matter about your ability. You can make a difference. Leaving middle school and entering senior school is your big chance to go for it. Please think about how you can redefine the way you do things. Master something that has escaped you. Maybe turn some grades around. Try a new sport. Try harder. Be kinder. Be connected. Step out. Look out for others. I don't know what it might be for you, but I want to say go for it. I hope, like me, you'll see the wonderful opportunities ahead and that 2019 will be your best year yet. Senior school will give you many opportunities. You have year 10 to step out, year 11 to step up, and year 12 to launch yourself into the world. Year 9, thank you for who you are and what you have contributed so far. I'm excited to see what will be ahead, and I formally invite you to go for it. Thank you.
Thank you. I think there's been a lot of advice given this morning, girls. I do hope you take that on board. All along the way, the girls have had the wonderful support of their families and the encouragement and help of staff. The partnership between home and school is crucial, and I'd like to thank all the families today, particularly for coming along, but for the journey that we've been on together over the 3 years through the middle school. I've certainly appreciated, and I know our staff have, the opportunity to work with you and to look after your girls. So thank you, parents. I think the Year 9s are remarkable young women, and I've enjoyed that privilege of working with them and accompanying them on their journey through the middle school. And I certainly look forward to seeing what they achieve as they move through the senior year.